Okay, well, you have to forgive me for the mess I have in my office here yet. I really, really need to clean out my shack and everything. But let's start with HT. So here is part of my collection of HTs here. I got some old mobiles that I don't have quite working yet for one reason or another. So let's start with these. These are Motorola XTS 2500s. These were government issued radios at one point, and I bought them for working events and things like that. These things are like bricks and actually could be used as self defense if you ever needed to. Let's see here. Let's jump down to GM. Oh my. So this is the Bofang version of the GMRS. This is actually a licensed radio, the UV9G, and this is what I use. It's quote unquote waterproof, and this one does not charge via USB. But this is a I've used this one a few times. So again, messy office. This is my mobile I have in my shack. So this is a single VFO, so I can only listen to one frequency or repeater at a time. It does have A and B, but I rarely ever go back and forth on that. So this allows me to listen to the local area. This is the one I primarily use in here. Here is my power supply here. This is a MFJ. This company is now defunct, so you might not be able to find this model anymore. They will be going out here soon. But that's what I use here. It's a 30 amp power supply. Sorry, it's not. Down here, this is basically it's a meter that a SWR and power meter that I use for my HF equipment because I have this big bad boy here. This is an amplifier. Yes, this thing is old. This is older than I am. Moving over here, this is my HF radio. So this is kind of they vary in size a little bit, but this is kind of what you'll call your starter type level. This is the older model, the FT991, which is a little bit older. The more modern version of this, they also FT991A. But Yaesu has other models as well. ICOM has 7300. All are good radios. You cannot go wrong with a ICOM or Yaesu radio, but they are on the spendier side. We're talking for new. If you might be able to find it on sale for slightly cheaper, definitely used. You can find it cheaper, but let's say around $1,000. And then this is my my auto tuner. You use this because your antenna doesn't have a perfect 50 ohm match. That dives really, really deep into amateur radio side, but this allows me to use different kinds of antennas and still be able to get out fairly easily. So you may have noticed my collection of HTs. I do have a couple Bofangs in here. I have a little mix. I do also have a Yaesu radio as well. That is my everyday carry. I keep it in my backpack. It's currently not with me. Let me show you my truck. So this is my truck setup here. I have an antenna here. That is my primary. I have a secondary. Might be hard to see in the video back here. That is for a second radio. Of course, you can see emergency lights on top. I just installed these this week. And here's my radios in here. Again, another mess, but so this is my primary here, my TYT TH7800. I kept on calling it 7300. So this is my first mobile radio I purchased and is riding my truck. That's also the one I've made a couple videos on saying I'm finding its weaknesses now, but it works just good. I got this from another person to help out. This was like a public safety radio or something like that. So it's P25 capable, things like that. So these are what I drive my truck with all the time. Primarily I'm listening to this one. And that gives me all the things I need. So when I'm out storm chasing, I'll have both those radios on. The TYT is a dual band dual VFO, which means I can listen to 2 frequencies at once. So I'm listening to a primary repeater, and at least for storm chasing, I also am listening to a second repeater that broadcasts out the weather alerts. That way I don't have to have a weather radio and all this other stuff. I have everything kind of together in one spot. I'm not sure what that noise is, but and then the secondary radio, just to listen to a third, because sometimes we are split around the area, and so that allows me just another way. In an emergency situation, I would probably have one of those VFOs on the primary communications channel, and then probably a second on either a secondary repeater or more so on a simplex frequency, so I can listen to for people there. So that is my equipment. I do occasionally put an HF radio in there. I'm not going to pull that out right now. That's the Xiegu G90. I use that for portable operations. I might use it for something like that for emergency stuff, but honestly, I would probably grab the 100-watt radio because it's 100 watts. It's a lot more oomph out there, and it's just, I'm very, very familiar with that radio because that's my primary play toy. So that gives me that capability, and I also know I can do VHF UHF, which allows for that local communications as well if one of the other things fail. So always have backup plans. When I'm working events, like we have the Main Care Marathon coming up here soon, I will have at least 2 radios along. I probably won't do a third because I'm running more of a mobile type operation this time. But a lot of times I'll have 3. I'll bring 2 batteries, really the 2 Motorola's because they both use the same battery. And then I will also have at least 1 other radio. And then I have a Go kit over here too that I also pack along. It's not really a Go kit, it's not grab and go, but I put everything in there and keep everything in there other than the radios. So I usually throw another one in there just in case because you just never know. So I always try and carry at least 3 means of communication, not counting the truck, which is usually a 4th mode at most cases. I got one more I can show you. So you will notice a common theme, at least my particular club. We do a lot of Motorola stuff because all of our repeaters are Motorola. A lot of the guys have that knowledge. So I've been kind of migrating that way because they're really not horribly expensive compared to brand new anyway. All used, of course. So this looks like a mess, kind of is a mess, but this is a VHF 75-watt mobile radio, and then this is what's called a VRS, Vehicle Repeater System. So what this is this is a UHF, this is VHF. I can use a UHF HT, or HT or handy-talkie or walkie-talkie, depending on what you want to call it. I will transmit into this. It will repeat the signal out through this at the same time. And then rather than me pushing out 5 watts of power, I am pushing out 75 watts of power or 50 watts, whatever power level I choose. So that's another option out there. Again, I live in Minnesota. I don't know, southern Minnesota. I don't know how familiar you are with that area, but it's a lot of farmland. And if I'm out in the rural areas on an event, I'm not going to be carrying around a mobile radio all the time and trying to make that all work. I want to carry one of those handy talkies that I showed you earlier. I'm talking into that, which talks through that, which I then through my truck. So I can run on a separate battery, and I don't know how long I can run it. Most of the time when I'm in an event, I leave my truck running the entire time because I got lights running, radios on, all that stuff, and it just keeps it cool, keeps it warm, depending on the season and everything. So there are lots and lots and lots of ways as you dive down the rabbit hole of radio of what you could do with it. All the stuff I showed you, or most stuff I showed you, is what you can do with ham radio. And that's where you can really start to experiment. But GMRS FRS gives you that immediate plug and play, essentially. So 7.3,